Now on My 58.
Davis officer targeted. Natalie Corona shot several times. Bystanders caught in a hail of bullets.
Reloaded and then started shooting in another direction. Several bullets hit a fire truck. At least one house was struck. We have a report that a bus that was going by was also struck.
What we're learning about the shooter.
The officer's father in mourning.
We're hurt. Yeah, we're going to grieve for a while.
Childhood friends remember Natalie's kindness.
Biggest heart of all the people I've ever known.
Her colleagues remember her excitement and dedication to the job.
If you gave me 70 Natalie Coronas on day one of Academy, I'd give you 70 solid officers 6 months later.
Tonight, the memorial's growing across Davis in her memory.
A chilling video.
It was very tough, but very rewarding at the same time.
Officer Corona describes in her own words what it was like to graduate from the police academy.
Where the news comes first. KCRA 3 News at 10 on My 58.
Officer ambushed. That's how Davis's police chief is describing the attack that killed Officer Natalie Corona.
22 years old, she had just finished her training with the department a few weeks ago when she was gunned down last night at a scene of a car accident in downtown Davis. And tonight, police say that attack could have been so much worse.
Reloaded and then started shooting in another direction. Several bullets hit a fire truck. Other bullets went across the street. At least one house was struck. We have a report that a bus that was going by was also struck with a bullet.
And we have live KCRA 3 team coverage tonight.
Walter McCall has been talking to people in Davis about what happened in their normally quiet college town.
But we begin with KCRA 3's Emily Maha with some new information we've just learned tonight about how this situation could have been different. Emily?
Brian, Kelly, I want to show you something first. First responders put up this flag in honor of their fellow officer. This is the intersection where Officer Natalie Corona was shot and killed. Tonight, the Davis police chief telling us the gunman rode a bicycle up to this area before pulling a semi-automatic pistol, shooting and killing the officer.
He came from the side. Based on how dark it was, we're speculating that she never even saw him.
Officer Natalie Corona was helping the drivers involved in a 3-car crash when the chief says she was ambushed.
The suspect basically just opened up fire, shot her once, and she went down to the ground, and he then ended up shooting her multiple times.
Davis Police Chief Darren Pytel says the killer emptied an entire magazine, then reloaded and started shooting at other first responders, including a firefighter.
He ran, and while he was running, was shot at. One round hit his boot, didn't penetrate, didn't hurt him.
Investigators say the gunman took off running back to a house where he lived with his roommate.
It was there that he met with a roommate, and really didn't show any signs that he had just been involved in this incident. Spoke to the roommate for a period of time and actually stayed outside and was watching what was going on.
A witness pointed out a backpack that had been left not far from the scene, telling officers it was dropped by the suspect. Investigators used the contents inside to identify the man and track him down. Once officers surrounded the house on the corner of E and 5th Streets, the chief says the man came outside wearing a bulletproof vest.
He shouted some stuff, went back in, and ended up coming out again wearing a vest and had a firearm.
The chief says after coming out a second time, the suspect went back into the house, pushed a couch in front of the door, and shot himself in the head.
We were able to eventually make entry into the residence using a robot. We didn't want to send any personnel inside. The robot has a camera on it, and eventually we came across the subject, and he was deceased.
Now, the chief is not releasing the name or age of the gunman at this point, but the chief did say the man has filed police reports with the department in the past, saying none of those reports were out of the ordinary, and saying the gunman reported that he had been the victim of a crime in the past. Reporting live in Davis, Emily Maha, KCRA 3 News.
Yeah, just stunning details tonight, Emily. Thank you.
Let's get to KCRA 3's Walter McCall. He's live outside the Davis Police Department, where a memorial for Officer Corona continues to grow there as well.
That's right, Kelly. Good evening to you. There's been a steady stream of well-wishers here throughout the night outside the Davis Police Department. You can see a growing memorial, as you said. It's filled with flowers, balloons, and handwritten notes by people who are heartbroken. Many who came by to pay their respects didn't even know her.
I wanted to be a police officer like Natalie.
8-year-old Agia Verdi wanted to be just like her. When news of the fallen officer broke, the little girl from Davis told her mom she wanted to write Officer Corona a get well card.
I would write that if she had enough time to get better, she would go to the hospital.
I said, we'll get some flowers after work and we'll come by. And then when I went to work, I checked and I had heard that they had passed.
Throughout the day and night, a memorial outside the front entrance of the police department continues to grow.
It's great to see that people do recognize, they are trying to make a difference, and they're out to protect and serve. So it's great to see the show of support.
Flowers, balloons, and candles crowd the sidewalk, while messages of love and support fill a banner posted on the wall. People who didn't know her feeling compelled to pay their respects.
She gave up her life supporting us and protecting us, and we want to show her that she's supported and her family.
10 blocks away, where Officer Corona was gunned down, another memorial is attracting people who knew her. Mark Wolgemuth works for the towing company the Davis Police Department uses for disabled vehicles involved in accidents. He couldn't contain his emotions.
I sat in my chair and I prayed for her. So I just sorry. I couldn't say anything else. I was numb. I had a hard time going to sleep thinking about it.
Mark, like many others who knew Officer Corona, in disbelief over the tragic chain of events that took her life. And a public vigil is being planned in honor of Officer Corona for tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. It will be held at Central Park in downtown Davis. In Davis, Walter McCullough, KCRA 3 News.
Just a beautiful show of support for Miss Corona and her family. Yeah. All right, thanks, Walter. There was also a special, unexpected moment today from a Davis resident just wanting to pay his respects to Officer Corona.
Now, earlier this evening, a man stood outside the Davis police station, played Amazing Grace on the bagpipes before the flag as it flew at half-staff. Really special moment, and this was also special. Last night there was another Davis resident who honored Officer Corona by standing outside UC Davis Medical Center in Sacramento where she was being treated. He held the American flag with a thin blue line. He held it for hours. And the Davis police chief tells us there is an honor guard that will stand watch over Officer Corona's body until she's buried.
New details are coming out tonight about the woman behind the badge and Officer Corona's calling to serve. The 22-year-old grew up in Colusa County, where she dreamed of being a police cadet. Her childhood friends describe her as warm and selfless. Her colleagues and corporals at the Sacramento Police Academy describe her admirable grit and tenacity.
The biggest heart of all the people I've ever known. There was not a mean bone in her body.
Almost our entire academy class was at the hospital last night. We waited there until she was transported. I'm proud of her, and I'm grateful that I met her and I admire her. I want to be as strong as her.
If you gave me 70 Natalie Coronas on day one of academy, I'd give you 70 solid officers 6 months later.
He says that so well. The Sacramento Police Academy now creating the Natalie Corona Award that will be given to a person in each class capable of showing just a glimpse of Natalie's integrity. We have a video clip of Officer Corona in her own words talking about how much it meant to her to graduate from the police academy.
It was very tough, but very rewarding at the same time. I wouldn't be the person I am today if it weren't for the academy staff pushing me the way they did. I'm definitely a stronger person now, mentally and physically, so I'm very thankful for them.
Officer Corona graduated last summer. She had just finished training with the Davis Police Department around Christmas. She was only on patrol for a few weeks.
Officer Corona joined the force to follow in the footsteps of her father.
Yeah, he's a retired Colusa County Sheriff's Detective and County Supervisor. Merced Corona spoke with KCRA 3's Kevin Oliver today about the heartache his family is feeling right now.
I think all our hearts are broken. She was a special person. She was a special daughter. And just everybody that she met loved her.
Family, friends, fellow officers and deputies, including the chief of Davis Police, stepped into the Corona family home in Arbuckle to pay their respects to Natalie Corona's sisters and parents.
They've been coming and going since early in the morning, so they want to be with the family, with me and the girls, and we appreciate them. It's a small community, and with a small community, everybody knows everybody.
She came from a family full of police officers, at least a dozen by one relative's count.
In a way, I mean, she wanted to follow in my footsteps. Ever since she was a little girl, she always was very interested in law enforcement. She wanted to go on ride-alongs with me almost daily, but I didn't take her every day. And I just knew in my heart that that's the career path that she was going to take.
It was her father who pinned her badge on for the first time.
She was absolutely just committed to the job. She just loved it. She came home, she was excited. Every day that she came home, she was full of stories and just wanted us to know what she had done that day. And we were just proud of her. She was just enjoying serving.
But as a father who knew what she was getting into, he feared for her safety.
I really do think she understood that there was a possibility that she can get hurt. And she was willing to take that chance, because that's the profession that she wanted to get into. That was what she loved to do.
She loved being a Davis police officer so much that when community service officer or CSO funding was cut, she decided to stay on.
She came home one day and she said, Dad, they say there's no more money for the CSO position that I'm in. She says, what should I do? And I said, well, you can either go to work, get another, go find another job. She said, but I like it there. I want to stay there. And I said, well, it's up to you. She says, but there's no pay, and I'll just have to volunteer my time. And I said, well, if you're up for that, it's up to you. Wow. And she did that. She just decided that she was going to do it even if it was for free. That's the kind of person that Natalie was. She cared about everybody, sometimes to her own detriment. She cared about other people. We're hurting. Yeah, we're going to grieve for a while. We're very faithful people, and we know that God had a plan for her.
In Arbuckle, Kevin Oliver, KCRA 3 News.
Our thoughts certainly with their family tonight. Sadly, Officer Corona's death is part of a disturbing trend in the United States. Last year alone, 47 law enforcement officers were shot and killed in this country while on duty, and of those, 4 served and protected here in California. 2 of those law enforcement officers were in Northern California when they were killed, including Sacramento Sheriff's Deputy Mark Stasiuk and Newman Police Officer Ronil Singh. The other 2 officers killed were in Southern California. Those numbers do not include, by the way, law enforcement who died in vehicle accidents while on duty, including CHP Officer Kirk Grice, who was struck and killed along I-80 on August 10th. We're going to continue to follow this investigation both on air and online with the KCRA 3 mobile app, so be sure to enable your push alerts to have breaking news sent right to your phone.
Next on the KCRA 3 News at 10, we have a KCRA 3 exclusive. A 14-year-old attacked by dogs in Marysville, telling his story, what he had to say to his rescuer as they were reunited over the phone.
Stockton swim coach arrested. Police say he sexually abused a child. Why officials are asking for your help.
And leaving NBC for good. Megyn Kelly getting a big payout. What we're learning about the agreement she's reached with the network. We have a KCRA 3 exclusive tonight. Back on Wednesday, we told you about a 14-year-old attacked by 3 pit bulls in Marysville. Well, tonight, that boy and his mother are explaining what happened and also thanking his rescuer.
And they were just all around her, just biting my legs. I felt them by my hair, pull my hair, I felt them grab my face, and they just were just getting me everywhere.
The teen says he did everything in his power to get away, and if a stranger hadn't jumped in at the right moment, he's not sure he would have survived.
KCRA 3's Walter McCowla brought the teen and his rescuer together over the phone for the first time since the attack.
Wednesday morning, Dallas Davis was walking through Eastlake Park in Marysville.
I was walking through it to go to my grandma's.
He had done it many times before without any problems.
One.
But this day, 3 pit bulls, 2 without leashes, pounced on him.
One knocked me down. They were biting me, and I got up trying to run. They were right on me. I couldn't. So I turned around and I started punching. Boom. And I punched them like a couple times in the face. And they got me again.
Dallas suffered puncture wounds all over his body, both of his legs, up and down his arms, the side of his face, and even this wound that put a hole in his stomach.
I felt them by my hair, pull my hair, I felt them grab my face, and they just were just getting me everywhere. I thought they were just gonna keep on eating me and I was gonna die.
Luckily, Chad Bird was driving by and saw Dallas in desperate need of help. He parked his car and ran over. The dogs turned on Chad, and Dallas was able to get away. Dallas got into a passerby's car and called his own ambulance.
And I was over there screaming, I was yelling, "Help, please come. I just got attacked."
Dallas says if Chad didn't show up,
I would have got eaten up. I would have died.
You don't want to get a phone call like that.
Dallas and his mom couldn't wait to thank the man who saved his life.
If you wouldn't help me, I feel like I would have died.
Yeah, you looked like it the way they were throwing you around, man.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, no problem, dude.
Both are now recovering from their injuries, but Dallas is worried about the missing homework assignment that was in his pocket at the time. He says he knows exactly what he'll tell his teacher.
It might be at the park, but I think the dogs ate it.
In Marysville, Walter McCullough, KCRA 3 News.
As for the dogs, the Marysville Police Department said animal control plans to euthanize them.
KCRA 3 investigates now. Last night we found the suspect wanted for killing a Newman police officer was wanted for nearly 4 years. Paulo Mendoza was also known as Gustavo Arriaga, awaiting trial on charges of murdering Newman police officer Ronil Singh. Today we've learned Mendoza never turned himself in to serve a 6-day jail sentence in Madera County in December of 2014 for a DUI he pleaded guilty to. Mendoza was arrested twice for driving under the influence in Madera County in 2011 and 2014. In the first DUI case, prosecutors agreed to drop felony charges in exchange for a guilty plea, but the judge and prosecutors agreed to allow Mendoza to go free and to turn himself into the jail 2 months after the sentencing. The next time he came in contact with police is when authorities say he shot and killed Officer Singh.
A school that serves special needs students will now be allowed to stay open during the investigation of a student's death. The state announced earlier this week that it would revoke the certification for Guiding Hands School in El Dorado Hills, effectively closing it. Students were supposed to find new schools to attend by Monday. However, the school tells us today that a judge has decided that was a premature decision and the timetable wasn't reasonable. A 13-year-old student died after being restrained by the staff at Guiding Hands late last year. The school says it's in the best interest of all the students with special needs for the school to remain open at least through the end of the year. Tonight, a Stockton swim coach under arrest accused of sexually abusing a 12-year-old girl. 22-year-old Shunichi Fujishima is a former coach at Stockton Swim Club. He's been charged with sexual assault and child abuse. Police believe he developed a sexual relationship with the 12-year-old girl that lasted until she was 13. Investigators say they're looking for other possible victims to come forward.
Now to KCRA 3 weather, and photographers are making their way to Pfeiffer Beach along the Central Coast. They want to make sure they don't miss this natural phenomenon that only happens a few weeks out of the year. The sun aligns just perfectly with this keyhole, which is the name of the rock formation.
It's one of the things that we really wanted to do. This has been a trip that we've been planning for years now.
The perfect lighting only lasts for a couple minutes. Yesterday, the light was quickly covered by low clouds, making it even shorter. But gosh, it's just absolutely beautiful. And as Mark told us earlier, about 100 photographers are out there each day trying to get that perfect shot.
Or more. Yeah, it is a very popular spot for photographers. But once they get the shot, boy, it is spectacular. Around here tonight, we still have some clouds. Some areas west of I-5 have had a few light showers. But currently, we have 49 in Sacramento, 48 in Stockton, 46 in Modesto, 29 in Tahoe. And it's kind of tough to see from this shot, but every now and then we see a little bit of haze out there. We're starting to see some light fog develop in the valley, and we might see a bit more of that through the night. While we have seen a couple of sprinkles west of I-5, we haven't seen anything really as you go to the east, and there is still some rain along the Coast Range, but look at the direction it's heading. it's heading that way. So usually you see rain this way and it's heading toward the valley and the foothills, but instead it's heading that way. So it's not coming our way, and that's why we've stayed dry. But that is the weather system that we were looking at for today, and obviously it's not doing anything for us. So let's talk about Saturday. This is Saturday morning of the Futurecast. Now, Futurecast is showing some fog in the San Joaquin Valley. I have a hunch that it may be more extensive than that. So it doesn't show it into Sacramento or toward Yuba City or Placer County. I have a feeling it will be a bit more extensive than that in the morning. But as we head through the rest of the day tomorrow, I do think we'll see clearing, although maybe a bit more cloud cover than what Futurecast is showing. But tomorrow is going to be a dry day. Even though we may have more clouds than this, still it'll be dry from the coast through the valley, the foothills, and the Sierra. So a good day to do things outdoors, and after any morning fog burns off, it should be a pretty comfortable day. Nice day to be outside, good day to travel through the mountains. A lot of clouds in the morning and maybe some of that fog. But as we go through the rest of the day, we'll have mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies, and temperatures in the valley will reach the upper 50s. In the foothills, we will also see a lot of sunshine tomorrow, maybe a few clouds here and there, but a really nice day. Morning temperatures will be in the 40s, afternoon temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. And in the high Sierra, a beautiful day for skiing, snowboarding, maybe snowshoeing, whatever it might be. We'll just see partly cloudy skies, temperatures getting into the 40s, a dry day in the Sierra. Tomorrow's looking pretty good, but down the road we are eyeing more rain and snow, so maybe tomorrow's one of those days you take advantage of the dry. I'll talk more about when we may see the rain come back in just a couple of minutes.
And then hunker down on Sunday when it's not as good.
I'll have an update on Sunday.
I'm gonna hunker down anyway because it's football.
Why not?
All right, thanks, Mark.
That's true. These two have got quite the game going on Sunday.
It's a big game.
Yes.
All right, next at 10, Megyn Kelly cut ties with NBC. What she is getting from her settlement with the network.
Nasty flu season, the new numbers showing how widespread it is and the simple things you need to do to keep your family healthy. Two years after Megyn Kelly signed with NBC News, she is officially parting ways with the network. The former host of Megyn Kelly Today is halfway through her 3-year contract worth $69 million. NBC will pay her the remaining sum of money, believed to be about $30 million. The announcement comes after Kelly defended Halloween costumes that incorporate blackface. Her show was canceled within days.
We have some new numbers on this year's flu season. The illness is widespread in California and 29 other states. Millions of people have already caught the flu, and it's not over yet. Erica Edwards has the latest.
An estimated 6 to 7 million people have had the flu so far this season. Half went to their doctor for help, and up to 84,000 others were so sick they had to be hospitalized.
This is the first year that we're actually reporting these numbers during the season, and going forward, we're going to report them every week.
The latest report from the Centers for Disease Control finds widespread flu activity in 30 states. Adult flu deaths are not officially counted, but 16 children have died. Experts say it's not too late to reap the benefits of a flu vaccine.
We know the vaccine reduces outpatient visits, hospitalizations, ICU admissions, and can be life-saving in children.
Beyond the shot, pediatricians offer these tips for flu season.
Stay home when you're sick. Keep your kids home from school when they're sick. Practice good hand washing.
Flu season is expected to last at least another month. Erica Edwards, NBC News.
And last year, 80,000 people died after catching the flu. Front Street Animal Shelter is asking people to come and pick up their pets. This past weekend's storms caused a huge influx of cats and dogs at the shelter.
Yeah, some of the pets have been scared of the storm. Others may have run away after, fences broke down in people's yards. So the shelter says there's 135 pets right now that have been dropped off since Sunday. So go grab your pets if you're looking for them.
Still to come here in the next half hour, emotions running high among law enforcement officers. A chaplain explains how they are feeling after a string of police deaths in Northern California.
The longest government shutdown in U.S. history. The president's message to furloughed workers who didn't get their paycheck today.
And brave escape. A Wisconsin teen kidnapped for months runs away. The people who found her speak out for the first time.
Taking a live look outside at the state capitol tonight, Governor Gavin Newsom has ordered the flags to be flown at half-staff to honor fallen Davis police officer Natalie Corona. Newsom issued a statement calling her courageous, saying she died protecting her community from harm.
And tragically, Officer Corona's death has become part of a disturbing trend. She was shot and killed while responding to a car accident. Just last month, Newman Police Corporal Ronil Singh was shot and killed while making a traffic stop. And last September, Sacramento County Sheriff's Deputy Mark Stasiuk was shot and killed while responding to a disturbance call in Rancho Cordova. 3 talented young law enforcement officers all killed while protecting and serving the communities they cared so much about.
Next Wednesday, the Law Enforcement Chaplaincy of Sacramento will be holding a special gathering, allowing other officers and their families to come together to talk and mourn.
KCRA 3 spoke with law enforcement chaplain Mindy Russell about this string of deaths and the struggles officers face and what we can all do to help.
It takes our breath away. It is making people do a lot of questioning right now, and we need our warriors, we need our heroes, our community needs them. So if we are any part of helping support them, we need to do what we need to do and stop saying it but doing it. So what they're feeling, we gotta let them know they're not alone.
Tonight, we focus on Officer Corona, her family, friends, and the community of Davis, mourning the young woman's life taken too soon.
KCRA 3's Vicki Gonzalez captures more of who she was in pictures and with the words of those closest to her.
To get a glimpse of Natalie Corona's reach, it begins with childhood friend Isabella Pineda.
I want them to know how big of a heart she had. The biggest heart of all the people I've ever known. There was not a mean bone in her body. The Corona family is really at the heart of our community, and they have every single person a family has touched, everyone in the community.
A selfless foundation in Colusa County shaping her into a cadet, graduating just last summer at the Sacramento Police Academy. Corporals Brian Laird and Ralph Kent describing unmatched grit and tenacity.
If you gave me 70 Natalie Coronas on day 1 of Academy, I'd give you 70 solid officers 6 months later. She was so excited to be out on her own solo, and you just never imagine a text you get from a former recruit 2 weeks later, they're gone. It's sad and it's maddening.
When it hits home, and as close as this is with Natalie, it rocked me, without a shadow of a doubt.
For Latasha Kelvin, having Corona by her side during Police Academy was a blessing and inspiration.
Almost our entire academy class was at the hospital last night. We waited there until she was transported. I'm proud of her, and I'm grateful that I met her and I admire her. I want to be as strong as her.
At 22 years old, Natalie Corona's young life was cut ruthlessly short, leaving behind a loving legacy of character and selfless compassion.
All of 18BR1 wants to send our love to Natalie's family. We love her so much, and we thank you for allowing us to meet her and share these experiences with her and go through this journey with her.
Throughout your lifetime, there are few people that make an impact on your life personally, and I can without a doubt say that she was one of them, that I will forever remember her.
The Sacramento Police Department is now creating the Natalie Corona Award. It'll be given to one cadet in each class that's capable of showing just a glimpse of Natalie's integrity, compassion, and determination. In Davis, Vicki Gonzalez, KCRA 3 News.
We'll continue to follow this investigation on air and online with our mobile app, so be sure to enable those push alerts and we'll send breaking news right to your phone.
To Washington, D.C. now, and as of an hour ago, this partial government shutdown became the longest in U.S. history. Today is the first day that furloughed federal workers did not receive paychecks, but President Trump says he believes that even some of those workers are still on his side.
I appreciate their service to the country. They are incredible people, the federal employees that we're talking about. But many of them agree with what I'm saying and what the people in this room who are experts are saying. They don't want to see people killed because we can't do a simple border structure.
The president says he'll sign a bill that ensures those workers get back pay.
NBC's Tom Costello talked with the families who've been impacted by the gridlock on Capitol Hill.
What is the 4372? Fighting for their paychecks, 13,000 air traffic controllers suing the Trump administration for unlawfully depriving them of their earned wages.
They still have to pay child care. They still have to put gas in their car.
Trisha Pasiri-Divick and her husband are both controllers with no income. They lost their home in a California wildfire last year.
My biggest worry is to not be able to provide a sense of security and stability for my children.
Now, with nearly 1 million government workers getting zeros on their paychecks, communities are responding. In Colorado, the Food Bank of the Rockies is expecting a surge of people in need.
We want to let them know that food assistance is available.
Grocery stores are offering food, cell phone companies offering flexible payments, credit cards and banks waiving fees and offering financial aid. In Fairfax County, Virginia, hundreds of applicants today for substitute teacher positions, including furloughed government worker Anandi Diamond.
I just thought to myself, well, if I can't make money doing the thing I do, I'm going to make money doing the thing I used to do.
The ripple effect evident on Washington's near empty streets.
I'm absolutely terrified.
Uber driver Robert Briskman is in trouble.
Normally I'd be making $1,700 a week. That's my about average. Now I'm making maybe $250, $300.
No kidding.
No kidding. You know, I have to buy my own groceries and I have to pay my mortgage.
Day 21 and the shutdown continues. Tom Costello, NBC News, Washington.
The president says it would be easy for him to declare a national emergency, find federal money to build the border wall and open the government. He says he won't do that yet because he believes Congress can reach an agreement. Well, back here in Northern California, the Yolo County Food Bank is helping feed federal workers who aren't getting paid. Workers can take up to 30 pounds of food. All they have to do is bring their last pay stub or proof of federal employment. Some of those workers in need have volunteered their time at the food bank in the past. And this partial shutdown also impacting agriculture workers across the state. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry in San Joaquin and Stanislaus counties. Congressman Josh Harder took a stand with farmers voting in favor of reopening and funding the U.S. Department of Agriculture that would revive crucial services that assist farmers. Harder spoke with KCRA3 from D.C. today.
Farmers who are working with the USDA today don't have anybody to work with. If the Farm Services Agency is closed and not able to accept applications, even though we extended that deadline, there's still not a lot of folks at USDA.
The shutdown could also affect the wine industry in the Central Valley. The Lodi Grape and Wine Commissioner says every label must be approved by the government. KCRA3's Lisa Gonzalez spoke to NBC's Chuck Todd about the impacts and the two groups of people who could end the shutdown.
So, Chuck, if President Trump declares an emergency at the border and bypasses Congress, what are the lasting impacts of a move like that, and does it create more problems rather than solutions?
Well, I think even the president believes it may create more problems than solutions, because that's why he's been very hesitant to do this. He continues to slow walk this idea even more so now. And I think part of it is because of the premise of your question. If this is a national emergency and this becomes precedent, then what's to stop this is what conservative Republicans are worried about on Capitol Hill. What's to stop a President Elizabeth Warren from declaring a national emergency on gun violence, on climate change? You could see how this suddenly could become contagious with presidents going forward. And frankly, it would weaken the legislative branch even further. It would weaken the structure of the democracy even further. So I think there are real important reasons beyond sort of where the money is coming from as to why this is such a controversial move. But we're still at a stalemate. And there doesn't seem to be, what's amazing to me is we're farther apart today than we were a week ago, and we were farther apart a week ago than we were when the shutdown began. So I think there's only two groups of elected officials that might be able to break this impasse. Senate Republicans who come from swing states, and the new House Democrats that got elected in districts that Trump carried. They're the only ones left that still care about the voter in the middle, who doesn't like shutdowns, period, and doesn't like all this sort of base politics intransigence.
Well, just hours after Gavin Newsom took the oath of office on Monday here in California, the president threatened to withhold FEMA funds from California. So it kind of looks like we're in for a long battle between California and President Trump, if this week it was any indication. What do you think about that?
Well, what's interesting, here's what it means. It means Kevin McCarthy, who is the House Republican, who was the House Republican leader, the House Minority Leader, who happens to obviously come from California, is suddenly going to be Gavin Newsom's best friend. They have a very good working relationship. Obviously, Gavin Newsom and the president do not. I think what's interesting is the fact that, notice after the president made that threat, how muted the response was, and frankly, how there was no follow-up. Ironically, the president is powerless to do what he threatened because he already signed a state of emergency order for California. So what he was threatening, he actually did not have the power to do, period. It doesn't matter because he has already declared it a state of emergency. But I do think the fact that you saw Gavin Newsom didn't fight back, and there seems to be some ability by Kevin McCarthy to play sort of mediator here, but I have no doubt the president wants to be triggered by Gavin Newsom. I do think we will see future fights between the two of them going forward.
All right, Chuck Todd, thank you for your time.
You got it.
And you can watch more of Meet the Press 6 o'clock Sunday mornings over on KCRA3. Then our morning news at 7. Of course, that'll be followed by Matter of Fact with Soledad O'Brien at 8:30. And they're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yes, I would say so.
Yeah.
All right, next at 10, a Wisconsin teen's dramatic escape from her kidnapper.
We'll be right back.
We have new developments tonight in the story of a brave 13-year-old Wisconsin girl and her escape from her kidnapper. Jamie Kloss was missing for nearly 3 months when a woman out walking her dog recognized her. She ran up to her neighbor's house and asked them to call 911.
She was really calm, I thought. She was pretty quiet, but she was kind of smiling when we would talk to her. She said hello to the kids.
She said, he killed my parents and took me, and that's what she said.
Tonight, Kloss's community is celebrating her safe return.
She helped police track down the man they say killed her parents and kidnapped her back in October. NBC's Ron Mott reports.
Tonight, 13-year-old Jamie Kloss is alive and safe, and even police here are stunned.
My legs started to shake, man. It was awesome.
3 months after she disappeared, Jamie turning up 70 miles from the Wisconsin home where her parents were brutally murdered. Police say she escaped her alleged captor, who's now under arrest for those murders and her kidnapping.
It's amazing the will of that 13-year-old girl to survive and escape.
Thousands of volunteers have been looking for her for weeks.
We did not sleep much at all.
Jamie's aunt said police told her the incredible news at a basketball game.
I just sat down on the bench and I cried, and I got up and I hugged him, and I said, "Really?" And he said, "Absolutely."
Police say the suspect, 21-year-old Jake Patterson, took Jamie against her will to a house in a remote rural area and did not have prior contact with the Kloss family.
We do believe Jamie was the only target. I can tell you that the subject planned his actions and took many proactive steps to hide his identity from law enforcement and the general public.
Police say Jamie was able to get away when the suspect was not at home, that she was discovered when she approached a woman walking her dog.
She just had on some kind of slacks and a sweatshirt, no gloves, no hat, no mittens, nothing. So I knew I needed to get her out of the cold.
The pair then showing up at the Kasinkas' house.
We knew it was Jamie immediately, and we thought 911's not going to believe us.
Like I've told everybody, it's like I was seeing a ghost in person because I didn't think she was alive.
Police say at that moment, her alleged abductor was hunting for her.
While I don't know how she escaped at this time, we believe that the suspect was out looking for her when law enforcement made contact with him.
He was arrested without incident. Kristen Kasinka says Jamie told them who abducted her.
I asked her if she knew Jake before this. She did not. She said she did not know who he was until he came to kill her parents.
Still a mystery why the suspect allegedly targeted the Kloss family in the first place. But tonight, Jamie's safe, her hometown getting ready for a big celebration.
You better believe it. Jamie, we missed you, and we are so grateful you are home.
The man accused of kidnapping her surrendered to police and was arrested, and authorities say they're not looking for anyone else.
So glad she is safe. Can't even imagine what she must have been through. Let's get a check on the forecast now with Mark. We're heading into the weekend. What do you got?
Well, I've changed the forecast for the weekend just a little bit. I'll show you that here in just a second. Tonight, a little hazy out there. Could have some fog develop as we go through the overnight hours, and I think the valley should have some fog develop for sunrise. Right now, temperatures are in the mid to upper 40s in the valley. They won't drop too much more between now and sunrise, and currently we have 29 degrees in South Lake Tahoe. A weak weather system has been bringing some very light showers to areas west of I-5 today, but the best part of that weather system is pivoting down the central coast and is heading into Southern California. Behind that, there's a break, and that's what we'll have for tomorrow. And then behind that, there's another weather system. However, this next one is going to have a lot of similarities to the one we had today. Let me show you that. Let's just go through the weekend. A little bit ago, I showed you the day tomorrow, and that's going to be nice. So we'll pick it up tomorrow evening at 6:30. We have mainly clear skies. I still think we'll have a few clouds around. Let's go into Sunday morning. This is Sunday morning at 7:30. We are still mainly clear to partly cloudy. There could be some fog in the valley, but other than that, we're looking pretty good. Now let's head into the middle part of the day. This is, well, now 6 p.m. Here comes that next area of rain. It's raining in the Bay Area, but it is still dry in the valley, and it is still dry in the Sierra. And that means that driving in the mountains tomorrow, driving in the mountains during the day on Sunday, that's going to be fine. But just like today, watch what happens with this system. It really doesn't come inland. It just kind of, once again, pivots off the coast. So what I've done is I've taken the rain out of the forecast for Sunday. If you want to do things outdoors Sunday, that's fine. This is 4 o'clock in the morning on Monday. Monday, I think we'll see some light rain. We'll see a couple of inches of snow in the Sierra. So that's the Monday storm, if you will. So you'll see the rain on the 7-day. The rest of the week will give us better rain chances than what we'll see on Monday. But Monday, it doesn't look like much. And again, we took the rain out of the forecast for Sunday. Tomorrow will be a dry day, and again, the mountain roads should be just fine until maybe we get a couple of inches of snow on Monday. The foothills tomorrow, sunshine, a few clouds, beautiful day with afternoon temperatures in the mid-50s and generally light winds. We'll still see some clouds along the coast, but enough sunshine to get San Jose up to about 59 and 57 degrees in Fairfield. And for the valley, some fog in the morning. But by the afternoon, we'll see sunshine and some clouds. Stockton goes to 58, a high of 58 in Tracy and Turlock. And for the Sacramento area, a little bit of morning fog, but sun by the afternoon and a high of 59 degrees. So again, we'll make Sunday dry. If you're not watching the football game, you can go outside, but I mean, you got to watch the Patriots game, right? Then on Monday, we have some light rain, better rain Tuesday, but the real day we're watching next week is Thursday. So I know there's a lot of rain icons on there, but I think the real day we got to focus on is next Thursday. But until then, not too bad.
That really hurt Brian's feelings.
Do the Patriots have an opponent, or are they just playing all by themselves?
Is it the Chargers game, Del, or is it the Patriots game?
At Gillette. I think they could just win, yeah.
Del.
What's going on here, people? What is going on?
At least we're not in this. We're like, you know what, you two fight it out.
Exactly right. All right, let's transition into sports. I guess that's what we're talking about. I'll recap what the Kings did last night and tell you when they'll hit the hardwood next. Plus, 2 local college soccer players were selected during today's first 2 rounds of the Major League Soccer draft, the MLS. Also, we'll check in with the UC Davis Lady Aggies as they prepare to play at the University of Hawaii tomorrow.
Now, KCRA3 Sports, powered by Toyota.
Welcome back. I'm Del Rogers. The Sacramento Kings appear to have shaken off their embarrassing road loss to the Phoenix Suns that took place on Tuesday night, because last night at home, the Kings dumped Detroit by 10 points. Next for Sacramento are the Charlotte Hornets at the Golden One Center tomorrow night. Looking to win their 3rd straight, the Warriors hosting the Chicago Bulls tonight. The Splash Brothers were on display. Klay Thompson cords the 3. And while Klay had 30 points in this deal, his splash brother, Steph Curry, splashes the 3. Curry with 28 in this one. Warriors win their 3rd straight, busting the Bulls' final score 146-109. Elsewhere tonight, the Lakers playing at the Salt Lake City Jazz. And because of Donovan Mitchell of the Jazz, the Lakers never had a chance. In fact, Los Angeles never led, as all 5 of the Jazz starters scored 12 or more points tonight, with Donovan Mitchell leading the way with 33. Jazz over the Lakers 113-95. Now to local women's college basketball, the UC Davis Aggies will shoot for their 7th consecutive victory this weekend. The Lady Aggies carry their 6-game winning streak into Honolulu, Hawaii, as they continue the Big West play in against Hawaii. UC Davis has won the last 4 meetings against U of A.
They're always tough, and it's, you know, it's a long travel. It's a lot of travel, and You know, they play really hard, so we have a lot of respect for their program.
They're like well coached. They have some really skillful players. So coming there, it's definitely very important that we're focused. We don't take the fact that, oh, we're in Hawaii, like it's not a vacation. Like we always say, it's a business trip.
Yeah, they're going to find time for some sun. In Chicago, the first 2 rounds of the Major League Soccer draft was held today, and Roy Boateng of the UC Davis Aggies was selected in the first round. The Davis Aggies senior was the Big West Conference Defensive Player of the Year. The defender, which he plays that position, was selected by the New York Red Bulls in the first round. This past season, Boateng led the Aggies to the title game of the Big West Conference Championship.
With the 16th pick of the first round of the 2019 MLS Super Draft, the New York Red Bulls select from the University of California, Davis, defender Roy Boateng.
I was born in Ghana, and I came to the States when I was 8 years old. I'm very aggressive, and I like to defend, and I like to be vocal on the pitch, so I'm excited to bring all of that. I'm really excited. It's an amazing club with a lot of great players and a lot of accomplishments.
Another local college soccer player was also drafted into the MLS today. Camden Riley of the Pacific Tigers, who was the West Coast Conference Player of the Year, was drafted in the second round by the Kansas City Sporting.
It's just really exciting to go to a team with a lot of history behind them and just see how I can fit in and help the team in any way possible.
Well, the Vatican is bringing the new meaning to the term Godspeed. The Vatican is hoping to send a track team to the Olympics. The team is composed of 60 athletes, including nuns and priests. The Vatican launched their team last night after receiving the blessing of the Italian Olympic Committee. Obviously, they will have to qualify before going to the Summer Games, and their first race is in just 9 days. So I'm wondering if they got to, where the nuns going to be running with the deal, or they get to change their uniform, or
I'm pretty sure they'll get them a uniform.
Okay, because you don't know. You don't know.
That's amazing.
I know it is. This is a great story.
Thank you, Del. Well, listen, it has obviously been a very tough 24 hours here especially for the folks in the community of Davis. But we want to leave you tonight with some pictures from Davis, that memorial that continues to grow for the fallen officer, Natalie Corona, who was a rookie police officer on the job just for a couple of months.
Yeah, just 22 years old. It's just such a senseless tragedy. We are going to have much more live team coverage coming up in Davis on the KCRA3 News at 11. But again, our thoughts and prayers are with the Davis Police Department, the entire community of Davis, which is just such a quaint, special little community that has not really seen anything like this in so many years. We hope you enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you at 11 o'clock.